Laurie says she is prepared to break the rules a little. So, but I'm going to have to allow her to break the rules to her detriment because I could get in trouble. So, I will be telling you, don't ask questions about The Walking Dead, and I'll try not to be mean about it. But I think she's going to talk about it a little bit. But of course, there's a lot more things to talk about. Who remembers seeing Laurie on The X-Files? Yes, excellent. Who remembers seeing Laurie on Highlander, which is a smaller one? Yes, right? She was good, I thought. And of course, The Mist. Only you guys have seen The Mist? Nobody's seen The Mist? Oh, come on. You guys just aren't raising your hands. Who has hands?
I am not raising my hands.
Raise your hands if you have hands. Hey, woman, you're a lawyer! She doesn't even know that I just was effing with her. All right, you guys are pretty warm. I'm sorry for the delay. Laurie was really against leaving her booth with all these people who she promised to give autographs to, and they were still waiting. Are we good? Yes? Without further ado, everybody, Laurie Holden. It is the Laurie Holden panel. You are the guest of honor.
Oh my God, so you said all my other people.
Yeah, I'm just here to like even make it more about you. I'm like the king's liaison. Yes, the king will see you now. You're very special. So, Laurie, I don't know what to talk about. Can we talk about The Mist?
Yeah, we can talk about anything.
One of my favorite horror movies of all time, and I don't know if anybody will back up The Mist as one of the greatest horror films ever. Round of applause, thank you. And of course, you kicked some tush in that. So, what was that like? Because it seemed like, there's so much, CG and clouds of smoke, acting under those circumstances seemed like it might be weird.
That's what I do. See my movie? Yeah, it seems like I'm always Silent Hill, The Mist, The Walking Dead. I didn't plan it out this way, but for some reason I always seem to be in an apocalyptic setting, fighting the bad guy, and that's, oftentimes a monster. I'm grateful, I love it.
So do you have like a standard thing that you imagine you're running from when it's just some green stick or whatever else?
No, I have a pretty active imagination. With Silent Hill I didn't have to have an imagination because they really, that was crazy. We had this crazy director, an amazing director, but but crazy, or we're crazy because we allowed it. But I don't know for any of you who saw it. The scene where Rhoda, Mitchell, and I, Rose and Sybil, there's a knife coming through, and we're up against the wall. I don't know if anybody.
I remember that scene.
That was a real knife. That was a real blade, and we could have died. And we both looked at each other after, and we were like, why did we do that? So.
Now, looking at your resume, I didn't even realize it until I looked. Are you just drawn to kind of genre fare? From The Mist, Highlander, X-Files, and you were saying, I'm sorry, my brain is blanking on me. Silent Hill. There's so much, especially horror stuff, but real geek culture stuff. What we are hopefully all about in this room. So do you find yourself picking those things over other things, or is it just happened to work out that way?
Well, I think it's just kind of happened to work out that way. I love story. I feel like in the sci-fi genre and the fantasy genre, and something like the Walking Dead, that's kind of a lot of different genres, comic book, horror, fantasy. I just feel like the stories
Talking
are
to the
really
mic,
cool,
darling.
and I love life or death circumstances, and I just love, I don't know, I love just kind of ripping my heart out and just kind of getting ready.
Now,
I don't know what that says about me, but.
Now, on a more personal note, I know both your parents were actors and you've gone into acting, but is it true you went to college for economics?
I did.
what were you gonna do with that? Or just like once you became an actor, you were like, I'm gonna invest this money really good.
Yeah, no, my whole family is, they're all artists, and I love math. I was kind of, and
So were we all.
Yeah, and I still do love math. So I'm one of these freaks that loves doing my taxes. Literally, I was doing it on the plane. Yeah, I decided to be an investment banker, and I studied economics, and my parents were horrified. They were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's respectable, you know." But then
It's usually the opposite in the real world. What are you doing acting? Do economics or something like Laurie Holden.
Yeah. But then I missed. You know, I love plays, and I love stories, and I don't know. I love art. And so I just was like, it just kind of, it's like a romance. It just spoke to me, and I was like, okay, I have to go back to my art.
I should warn you, all these post-apocalyptic futures have one thing in common. No taxes. At all. I mean, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
For her, but we're gonna be good with it. Yeah, a lot of debt.
I seem to die all the time. I haven't gone through my resume, but I know I've died about 7 times. For sure. I mean, to the point where my mother's like, okay, I'm over this.
Is mom superstitious? Is she like, don't do a 9th one?
Well, she's
that'll
like,
be it.
She's like, you're my daughter. You know, it's like, I need more of, and now I really need to give her a heads up.
Yeah, mom, I died in this one.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. If your like daughter or son was like dying all the time in movies, you'd just be like, okay, that's like,
I really wanted to ask you, because, and again, I heard to confirm, are you going to get your master's right now in as humanitarian? I forgot what the major was.
Columbia.
At Columbia University in human rights. So, yeah, no, it is even better than that. You are the head of
Andrea.
a very wonderful charitable organization. Can you tell? I'm going to mispronounce it. Somali man. Somali man. Mom, can you pronounce it? Okay. See, I would have mispronounced it. That's why I didn't want to say it. So, can you tell us about it? Because I was just really touched as I found out about the program, and it's something that everybody should know about. And since you're here, you're going to listen, and then we'll take some questions.
During one of my hiatuses, I spent some time in Africa. I volunteered to work in the daycare center for HIV orphans, and I learned about a lot of the atrocities done to children. You know, in Africa, but it's all over the world. How they've been trafficked and abused, and I don't know, when your eyes are open to certain things, your life is never the same. And I mean, it made me want to go to one degree and just, you know.
When she says trafficking too, just to expand a little bit so that they can really understand what she's talking about, there's basically a sex slavery, over there that is people being traded and sold and just over and over and over again.
They'll take babies, and small children, and they'll kidnap them, and then they will sell them to be used in like prostitution rings. And I've met so many of these children and spent time with these children, and my heart breaks for these children. So I'm involved in something, an organization that rescues these children and then rehabilitates them, not just with love and education, but I mean, I've seen women, little girls' lives change from absolute hell and destitution. But so yes, I'm on this organization, and then I wanted to be more than an actress talking about it, because I was invited to go to Washington and talk about it, and I was like, well, is anyone going to take me seriously because I'm just an actress? So I enrolled in Columbia to get my master's, because I wanted to be more than just, the girl on TV that I actually wanted to be educated.
That's really cool.
So, I mean, I hope I make sense.
All right, do you mind if we start taking some questions?
Yes.
Cool, I'm so glad we got to talk about that. It's a great cause, look it up. All right, Batwoman.
So my question, I'm gonna try and be
beat around as many bushes as I can. But as a viewer of a show called The Walking Dead, which is awesome,
Which,
but I mean, as a viewer, not necessarily just, you know, as someone who works there, who do you think is a character named Andrea, who I love very much? Who do you think her favorite love interest was? Was it Shane or the governor?
Wait a second, I think we did one question. Do you watch that show, The Walking Dead? You do? Great, we got a question for you. In your opinion.
Or who was not necessarily love interest, but also who was better in the sack?
I almost fell off the stage, thank you.
I wish all my boys were be like, oh, that's me, dude, that's me.
I'm gonna tweet this directly to them, so watch what you say.
God, that's hilarious. Well, Shane was like a buddy, you know, that was just, I mean, I don't mean to sound terrible when I say this, but it was an exhilarating moment between two friends, and it just kind of was like two adults that were like, game on, you know? I think, you know, unfortunately, Andrea had feelings for a man that she didn't know who he was, you know. Now she does, she thinks he's the devil, but, you know, for a long time she didn't know that the governor was, you know, a complete sociopath. But if we're talking real love, I do think the real love of her life was Dale.
You have a lot more insight than your average viewer. Very strange.
Because he was like a father figure. He was a mentor. I think he brought her back to, you know, to who she was. You know, after, you know, when her sister died, she you know, just someone watching the show. When her sister died, you know, she went through a lot of pain and grief, and she wasn't her best self, and he loved it out of her, you know? He loved it out of her. He loved all that bratty behavior out of her, and she became the woman that she was prior to the apocalypse, which is someone who cared about other people and was empathetic and a leader and believed in humanity. So I think that it was the greatest love of Andrea's life.
Definitely felt like all hope was lost when that happened.
Oh, she's on the
Next question,
contract with
please.
AMC. They won't.
This is about The Walking Dead.